Right now on WFTV tonight, a deadly rampage at Florida State. The campus turned into a massive crime scene.
Cops running, students running. It was just like complete chaos.
As police say, a 20-year-old suspect unleashed gunfire and terror in the heart of the university.
I'm Greg Wilmoth, live in Tallahassee. As you can see, there is a makeshift memorial and also police tape behind me after the mass shooting on the campus of Florida State.
The investigation is just beginning.
I'll tell you what I've learned about the suspect, who is the son of a Leon County deputy. This is a tragic day for Florida State University.
Our live team coverage on this tragedy in Tallahassee starts right now.
This is WFTV Tonight.
And our live triple team coverage is staged throughout the city of Tallahassee, from the Florida State University campus to the suspected shooter's neighborhood. Good evening. I'm Martha Sagowski. Our team coverage begins with Channel 9 anchor Greg Wilmoth. He's joining me live right now from FSU. And Greg, certainly it has been a tragic day. You've been gathering information to take us through today's sequence of events.
Let's start here. Behind me is Legacy Walk, but there is no one walking here except for detectives. Instead, people are taking a knee and praying. Some of them actually are on the ground. And again, as you see, that makeshift memorial, people bringing flowers, balloons, notes, and cards for the victims of the first mass shooting to happen here since 2014. It is a very somber day as I watch these young people. Typically right now on a Thursday, they might be studying, they might be out, they might be resting up for class tomorrow. But tonight, I guess there's strength in numbers after their day was shattered at about noontime. A student recorded the jarring moments that the gunfire echoed outside the student union. What was next was not complete panic, but a plan. FSU police on scene in moments and took out the shooter.
FSU police responded immediately, engaged, neutralized, and apprehended the shooter.
The shooter, a student. But what was shocking, he's the son of a Leon County deputy. The gun, one that she actually used on duty.
This was a handgun that deputy used prior to them transitioning to a new handgun, and so it was her personal handgun.
The boy's name, Phoenix Ikner. He was actually with the Leon County Youth Advisory Council. Deputies knew him.
This event is tragic in more ways than you people in the audience could ever fathom from a law enforcement perspective. But I will tell you this. We will make sure that we do everything we can to prosecute and make sure that we send a message to folks that this will never be tolerated here in Leon County.
His motive unknown, and he didn't surrender.
No, they challenged him and ended up shooting. He did not comply with commands and was shot.
No officers were hit by gunfire, and the first two fatalities announced were not students. FSU's president says even those not victims or witnesses were impacted.
We're working to support the victims, their families, and everyone affected by this traumatic event.
Giving you a live look right now. Again, I mentioned at the beginning, Legacy Walk. You see the blue flashing lights. That's where, again, law enforcement has blocked off the scene. The investigation is continuing. And again, we know that they're still gathering information and gathering and cleaning up the scene. You also see police tape there. And the student union is about, I would say, 300 yards from where I'm standing right now. But that's to my left. And completely different story to my right. As I mentioned, Martha, there are dozens and dozens of people, some of them kneeling, some of them praying, others are just staring in disbelief.
And Greg, as you know, you and I both had kids who went to FSU. That student union is normally packed at this time of day. You know, there's crime scene tape up right now. Kids are walking around. Has there been any reports on where this guy came from, where the shooter came from and just showed up on campus? Do we know anything about that? Did he come in a vehicle?
He did. He came in, according to an eyewitness, an orange Hummer, which is a large SUV. He was wearing an orange shirt, khaki shorts, came on with, again, as I mentioned, one of his mother's guns that the family owned at that time. It had been retired from service and then just started shooting. You saw in our report the sound of that gunfire, and there are nothing but big red brick buildings around me, and so you could hear the echo off of each of those buildings. Martha?
You have a family member who attends there. I'm so glad that he's okay tonight. Thank you. And our team coverage continues with our Sabrina Maggiore, who is live on campus. Sabrina, obviously students are in disbelief.
And Martha, for some of these students, it's actually the second time they personally experienced a mass shooting. We know some of the students who were on campus survived Marjory Stoneman Douglas and then got alerts of an active shooter here on FSU. And again, you can see this makeshift memorial growing behind us here. Candles, flowers, and balloons all set out as this campus remains heavy with grief and is processing their emotions today. At the Church of St. Thomas More, a Holy Thursday Mass started with prayers for the victims of a deadly campus shooting.
I invite you to truly pray, especially for those that have died.
Just hours earlier, the church was a place of refuge. It sits feet away from the student union, where shots were fired around noon.
It's life and death, and you're just thrust into an emergency situation.
Father Luke Fairbrow heard the gunshots and immediately began ushering students to safety.
We were receiving students. People were sprinting across the street. People were crying and they had fear. They kept on asking, is the church safe?
He says hundreds of students sat in silence as shots rung out. Aiden Gershbein says he had just wrapped a class and was on the way to his car.
You really just see the panic in people's faces and then everybody sort of running away, not really understanding what's going on.
Emergency alerts were issued quickly. Sirens blared on campus, telling students to shelter in place.
My heart sank, and everyone's heart sank.
FSU sophomore David Echevarria says he huddled in the corner of his classroom and waited for police to tell him it was safe to leave. In the tense moment, he armed himself with what he had in his backpack.
Weird as it sounds, I got scissors and kind of hope for the best.
He says the frantic texts from loved ones came within minutes, but he couldn't find the words to comfort his sister. She's set to attend FSU next year.
He's asking me how this happened, why this happened, are you okay? And I believe that this is an event that we learn and grow from, but for now, this is definitely a tragedy.
And you can see students there placing flowers and taking pictures of this makeshift memorial. What you can't see is right across from this, there's dozens of students standing, taking all of this in right now. And we do know that a vigil is also going to be planned for Saturday. We understand FSU College Democrats will be hosting that. We've seen that tweeted out by a nonprofit group locally, and they say that's going to be at 7:30 again on Saturday. But for now, reporting live in Tallahassee, I'm Sabrina Maggiore, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Sabrina, thank you. And tonight we visited the community of that suspected shooter. Channel 9's Scott Martin continuing our live team coverage from near that neighborhood where Phoenix Ikner lives. And Scott, neighbors are telling you this is a surprise to them.
Martha, neighbors I talked to say that once they found out the suspect was Phoenix Ikner, it sent shockwaves through their body. Now, tonight, we just got a little bit closer to where that home is. It's just up this street here. We just saw a Leon County deputy leave the area. This area was blocked off to media and folks getting down here. And a couple of other new things that we just learned about Ikner is that he was part of some sort of dispute, legal dispute, back in 2015, a child custody dispute, and his name was actually Christian. He changed his name to Phoenix in 2020. And something else we just learned within the last few moments is that that deputy is now actually his stepmom. 20-year-old Phoenix Ikner, investigators say, was the lone gunman who opened fire at the student union on the campus of Florida State University, killing 2 people and injuring 6 others.
This is obviously a heinous crime.
Leon County Sheriff Walt McNeil says Ikner used his mother's handgun. She's been on the force for more than 18 years. The gun used to be her department weapon.
Unfortunately, her son had access to one of her weapons, and that was one of the weapons that was found at the scene.
Ikner went to Lincoln High School in Tallahassee and is believed to now be a student at FSU. Investigators say he was active in the Youth Advisory Council with the sheriff's office. The sheriff says there's no question he had access to weapons.
So he has been steeped in the Leon County Sheriff's Office family, engaged in a number of training programs that we have. So it's not a surprise to us that he had access to weapons.
As the FSU community wraps their minds around what happened and we learn more about the investigation, the sheriff says the alleged shooter will pay.
We will make sure that we do everything we can to prosecute and make sure that we send a message to folks that this will never be tolerated here in Leon County, and I dare say across this state and across this nation.
Well, one neighbor I spoke with also said that Ikner was odd, but it was just typical teenage boy awkwardness. He is in the hospital after being shot by officers with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, I mentioned we just learned some of those new details about a lawsuit dating back to 2015 that has since been dropped, but we're digging into some of those new details, and I'll share what I learned coming up on Channel 9 News, Eyewitness News at 11. For now, reporting live in Tallahassee, I'm Scott Martin, WFTV Tonight.
And Scott, we do know tonight that he is not cooperating with law enforcement. Thank you. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke out about the tragedy, saying that we are all one this evening.
Casey and I stand in solidarity and are praying for the entire Florida State community. We're mourning the two individuals who lost their lives in this tragic attack, and we wish well those who are currently recovering in the hospital. This killer must and will be brought to justice to the fullest extent of the law. I want to also thank the law enforcement personnel who were on the scene, both for the university as well as for the city of Tallahassee. They ran towards the danger. They stopped this killer from inflicting more harm, and there's no question that they saved lives. We are all Seminoles today. We stand by to help in any way that we can. God bless you, and God bless Florida State University.
We, of course, will continue to follow this story closely throughout this newscast. You can also find the latest information on WFTV.com and on the WFTV mobile app. Coming up, we're going to take you back to the campus of FSU, where we're hearing from students who were heading to class when that gunman opened fire.